Okay, so we have the curriculum that was spoken about. We have them down here. If anybody would like to come and take one, more than welcome to before they all disappear. Okay, fantastic. So for our fireside chat, our next one is entitled EdTech Renaissance, Examining the Surge in Investment and its Impact on Educational Innovation. So first up, we'd like to put our hands together for our speakers. So we have our adjunct professor, Dr. M. Arakam C. Munayam, the Chief Executive Officer from Mega Jati Academy. Then we have Eric Bolinder, CEO and founder of Click Data AB, and Paul Bakanu, Global Channel Marketing Manager for Instructure. Please go ahead.
Hi, thank you. Good evening. Right. Thank you. Again, we have together today Mr. Eric and also Mr. Paul. And today, I think this is the last session. Second last, we got one more. Okay, all right. Thank you so much. And thanks for the introduction from our MC. I'm Arkam from Malaysia. And it's very good again to be again in this stage today. This morning, got one session in the morning and then one session in the evening. And this evening topic we're talking about examining the surge in investment impact on education innovation. We've got two main topics here today. One is regarding the investment, and secondly on the impact on the education. So let's start from our Mr. Eric and Mr. Paul. So I think maybe we need to introduce our speakers, so I'll let them to introduce themselves first, please. Introduce Eric.
Well, hello everyone. I hope you have enjoyed the day. My name is Eric Bolinder. I'm the founder and CEO of Click Data. Basically what we do is helping individuals, teams and organizations to enhance their business with AI, moving your venture, no matter what you do, into the age of AI is absolutely necessary for everyone, and we do that with a system called K3. I consider myself to be an AI evangelist. There's many doubts about AI, and you read a lot of it, but I'm basically consider myself as an AI evangelist. So please add me on LinkedIn and we can continue the discussion.
Yes, definitely. Thank you. Yeah, Paul.
Hello everyone, my name is Paul Bakanu and I am the Global Channel Marketing Manager at Instructure. Instructure is the maker of Canvas. If you're in the education space, you probably have heard of Canvas or Instructure. And what we do is we want to, through our products, through our development, is to democratize education and to bring education to every student anywhere, any time, and any place. So what my role is to discuss about the impact that technology can have on education, how technology can democratize education, how technology can bring education to every student.
Thank you, Paul. So, Paul, you are working on infrastructure, education, infrastructure, instructor. Oh, sorry, instructor. And Eric is talking about AI evangelists. Yeah,
we do have AI products, yes.
Yeah. Okay.
And I used to work for an AI company before, so.
Yeah. All right. That's good. That's good. Okay. First of all, let's to start on this kind of investment. We talk about investment in education is very important because it will differentiate the level of ability that we can reach to what level of infrastructure that we can get from investment. So, is there any sample of kind of investment that may be available from your country? Because I'm talking about my country, for example, in Malaysia, we have few funds to be captured according to the investment when we're talking about the education. So, based on your experience, is there anything that we can talk about it in investment?
Well, the EdTech sector, which I represent, and the learning management systems has proven to be very good investments for companies who invest in them as clients, because the productivity gains is there, proven. Learning management system has been very a healthy business, growing with a rate of 15 to 80% a year for a long time, before there were any talks about AI. That has caused the investors to look at these markets. In my view, there hasn't been a player who has been revolutionized the business so far. There are, of course, many major players, but I would consider this as the Nokia moment. There were a lot of there were a lot of Nokia 3310s. Nokia sold 80 million units in 2006, 2005, and then something new came that we all are using one way or another. And we are exactly in the same position in the learning management system markets. We are a player in this market, even though we're very small. We are aiming to be disruptive in this game, because there will be a super change in education, and we all feel it, and we all are afraid of it. In the last panel, I don't know, the person who was sitting here said stay away from AI as long as possible, and he's right in the sense that we shouldn't enforce kids too early to technology. One example is you see a lot of parents giving iPhones as in the trolleys. It's like giving, in my view, it's like giving them cigarettes because there will be so much evidence that this is bad coming up. So in that sense, we are in 1963 when the first cancer reports came that it was bad to have cigarettes. I'm a little bit away from the subject. Coming back to the investment, the interest from funds and from institutions in learning management system has been there due to the fact that it's a very good, growing, wealthy business. With AI, it's also interesting because the player who is coming along and get this huge iPhone-ish moment will be huge. If you look at internet, we all here, all of us, use internet on hourly basis in our lives. If there's an exceptions, good for you, but most of us use internet on an hourly basis. And for the last 30 years, we have increasingly done so. In the AI world, we are in the 1996 world. Microsoft is there, and they were there in 1996, but there were no Amazon, there were no Wikipedia, there were no Google, there were no YouTube. In the AI world, we will see the next 30 years exactly the same as we have done for the last 30 years in our lives. And our kids, whether we like it or not, will use AI on an hourly basis for the rest of our lives in the coming next year. So education will, must, and shall approve and adopt. And this is, from the investment point of view, very interesting from the investor side. So they're joining into a sound business. Of course, there's a tons of learning management systems out there, but there has not been a major shift like Facebook did for social media, like Google did for search, etc. We also have seen the rise of a learning management system in COVID due to the fact that we were forced to use offline training or online training and not on-site training. Now we have shifted a little bit, so that growing curve went like this, and then it went back steady up. Now we're seeing hybrid solutions. But AI will have the most dramatic implications due to the fact that now we're giving students much more power than we ever have done. So in my view, as an AI evangelist and as an AI positive, futuristic person, I'm a future nostalgic. I think of the future like the nostalgic it's going to be so much better. We see this AI tool will shift, so we must do, as the gentleman said in the previous discussion, turn teachers into coaches. So I repeat what he said, turn teachers into coaches. Because the power of learning is there. And if we use AI in the classroom, when there are several good examples of this, at the age that they can use the technology, not too early because they have to have all the other skills and so forth, as discussed in the previous panel debate. This will totally revolutionize the education. But as everything, technology goes very fast and social change is slower. And the most slow change business I know, and I've been working on it for 35 years, is education.
So innovation in that sense, we talk about AI is one of the game changer in education, and LMS is actually was there somewhere. I think maybe 10, 15 years ago, also available the LMS. Where now LMS meet AI, something innovative towards that.
We're trying to be innovative. If we are the innovation force, other has to decide. But I think many of the players in this business needs to think like we do, and are doing this, right?
Right. Oh, maybe we need to add. Oh yeah, please continue.
Yeah, so when it comes to disruptive technologies, if you look at the way that the IT business as a whole, which, believe it or not, or some people don't think that LMS is part of, but it is actually. We had IoT, we had big data, we had cloud, now we have AI. So when you look into businesses, they need to adapt, they need to cut through the fog, through the marketing slang a lot of times, and make the right decisions, make the ethical and the intelligent decisions that will actually benefit them as customers. And that's why even at Instructure we have adopted AI, but we wanted to make sure that it's in an ethical, productive and helpful way for both the educators as well as the students. And when it comes to investment into LMS, yes, we had the pandemic, everyone freaked out. We had to have the business continuity, we had to have the social continuity, the educational continuity for all of our students. I live in Australia, we had 700 days of lockdown in Victoria, the state. Yeah, 700 days, can you imagine that? Some people said we had two pandemics, one of COVID, one of depression. So we were forced to adopt it, and we were forced to adopt other technologies, including LMS, work from home, Zoom. Now, I think it will be detrimental if we're not going to continue riding that wave. I think it's going to be detrimental if we're going to be forcing going back to the old ways, because we can't. Especially when it comes to AI, like the gentleman said earlier, we have to be very careful about AI. And we shouldn't trust it because it could something bad could happen. No, I think we should embrace AI. I think we should teach, and us as technology companies as well as educational institutions, we need to embrace AI because it's the next big thing. Maybe I'm showing my age in here, but I remember I used to use Google for the first time to my assignments.
Yeah.
But my teachers never accepted my references. They
From
were like,
Google?
you need to go to the library, pick up a physical book,
And then
conspect out of that book in order to finish your assignment. Even though it would take me about a week or two to actually do it, that I could do in maybe 3 to 4 hours,
Yeah.
right? So we are again at the cusp of the next revolution in technology. We need to embrace it, but we need to embrace it in an ethical and productive way.
And we don't really understand the implications yet. We can grasp it intellectually, but we have not, as a society, understood it at all. A few of us understand a little bit more than others, but as a society, we can't see ourselves 30 years from now, even though we can project how we saw each other from 1993 when World Wide Web saw light, and 30 years ahead where we are now. We can look back, but I urge everyone to imagine
Yeah,
and
we
to
can see that,
embrace.
yeah.
And my advice to everyone is learn about AI 50 minutes a day. And if you don't have 50 minutes a day, at least 50 minutes a week.
You need to
Yeah,
still
and
be-
there's videos on that, what have happened in the AI world, or whatever. Whatever you are interested in the fields, go to YouTube and educate yourself 50 minutes a day or 50 minutes a week, so you at least understand and start embracing the technology, and not just go to ChatGPT.
Or use it yourself, or talk to someone that knows about it. We're out there. You can talk to us right now, or I'm sure all of us have friends, have family members that either work in the field that have been using AI for a long time. I'm in marketing, and I'm using ChatGPT all the time. I'm using a lot of other AI tools, and just as an example of AI that has revolutionized even my sector. Okay, we used to have something which is called a media buyer, okay, ad buyer. That was a very well-paid job. Google came in, overnight disappeared. So it's not only that we are looking at AI as, you know, all the big fluffy words, digital transformation, the next big thing, but it's actually going to impact you. It's going to impact your students, because one of the biggest mistakes that we can do is, like you said, not think forward enough, think that it's not going to impact us, and we're going to be hit in the face, just like those people that lost their jobs overnight. So, as an educator, definitely learn more about AI. That will be my personal recommendation. Embrace AI and see how working together with the students, some of them may be even smarter than you when it comes to using AI, as we've all learned. Right? But being prepared and being open-minded for a future is going to prepare all of us to adapt to it and even prosper in it.
Thank you, Paul. Okay, later I will ask, is there any question coming from the floor after my next question? Okay, Eric, maybe, when everybody use AI, for example, I'm also using AI. Let's making my proposal, sending to my client, and tell everything through this generated AI. So the brain part behind it, where previously when we don't have this AI, before we go back to the investment letter, we know that original work will come from the intellectual of that person who submit the report previously. But now when we see the report, we can see this is AI generated report. So how we end to look into this kind of, is there still the intellectual part of the person who is submitting, or we just having a work exercise as an editor?
The moderation is the key in the education. You as a teacher, you as an educator, has to be the moderator for the students, so they don't just swallow what's the AI produce. That was the first thing I saw when I was stunned by the fantastic tool ChatGPT. I was stunned first time I saw ChatGPT. And then after 50 minutes, I noted 14 things I wanted to improve, so I improved it into our system. And the moderation and ability to directly edit and mark every reply as accepted, check this up, toxic or fiction. Fiction is fantastic when you want ChatGPT to write a business contract, because you want the fantasy of the system to give you this. But if you really want to fact check things, sometimes it's like a Russian general coming to Putin and said, how is it going on the front? Good.
Right.
And that's so you need to have a tool to moderate.
This is a
So you
humanizing.
can go to chat.k3.io and we explain that in that chat.k3.io. But the point from an education point of view, moderation is the key, and you have to let the students use ChatGPT and these tools to learn, but when you test them, use pen and pencil, because otherwise the digital tools will have a lot of cheating. So when you really need to test that the knowledge is here and not in the Google or in the cloud, you need to have paper and pen. And that's not me saying it. It's the evidence of people using this ChatGPT in the classroom on a daily basis. And his name is Thomas Sowell. No, not Thomas Sowell. Similar. And a guy in Gothenburg, Sweden, who has done this for high 7th to 9th classes, 13 to 15 years old, for 2 years now, and he's traveling around Sweden and explain his experience, because he was very early in this. And I'm sure there is a lot of entrepreneurs, enthusiasts of AI in your countries as well, doing the same thing.
Yeah, thank you so much. Well, how about that? Things like how we want to humanizing the ChatGPT, so that it's not just like robotic response. We go back to our, intellectual to blend the answer, not straight away. Moderation is one thing, but sometimes we cannot, differentiate between the moderated one and also the original produced by the ChatGPT.
In my opinion, I think ChatGPT is just a tool, like any other one. That's why, again, let's embrace it. Let's learn how to best use it. And I think as educators, one of the things that we as humans can set us up for success, and you learn this mostly in school, hopefully, is critical thinking. Critical analyzing a particular topic, understanding it thoroughly, and us as educators, it's a pleasure to see that your students not only can regurgitate stuff, right? Because that's where AI can come in. Just write me in 2 paragraphs an answer to this question or whatever, and ChatGPT can do it. However, critically analyze this and give me your personal reasoning within 2 paragraphs of why you've made a certain decision, whether it's right or wrong. I think that can set us up and that can set us as educators better for success, and our students a lot better, because that will then help them further up in life, not only by making better decisions, but also it will de-incentivize them by thinking that ChatGPT is a tool for cheating.
Okay, then.
I have a metaphor. AI is the horse. You have to be the rider and have reins on it.
Yep. All right, thank you so much. Is there any question from the floor, please? If there are any question to ask our panelists. And meanwhile, while waiting, maybe after this, our topic is examining the search in investment. So investment must, sometimes we look into the capacity of the person to invest, to get the good education, for example. And of course, we talk about the impact of education innovation. Clearly said that maybe for those people who are having sufficient investment, so they will get a good education. But for those who are not there, so they might be get not that, far education. So we need to stress out of this topic. Now, search in investment and impact of education innovation. How we want to, leverage between the, the person who having this ability to pay for the investment and person doesn't have this ability to subscribe of this kind of infrastructure in future, so that are they also will become left out in the education system or innovation in education system? Paul, Eric or Paul?
Well, I don't 100% think I understand the full question, but the AI helps the individual tremendously. It's like putting a tutor into hands of every student. The teacher I was talking about from Gothenburg, he says that my stress level as a teacher has gone down because suddenly I have 30 assistants to 30 of my students because they have someone they can interact with and learn from. And let that sink in for a moment. Then suddenly it's not a threat, it's a super helpful tool for teachers. And once the teacher as a community understand this, the resistance will not maybe switch 180 degrees, but it will change, and there will be so many examples of good use of AI in schools. And now we are celebrating this week the 2-year anniversary of ChatGPT, who was released on November 30th, 2022, right? So I'm sure a year ago your opinion here was different from what it is today, and you constantly develop your own opinion and usage of it in the context of where you are in your profession, right? I don't know if that was the answer on your question. But
Paul, maybe you can get it.
I'll let Paul answer the question.
I think something that we're really passionate, for example, at Canvas, like I mentioned earlier, is to bring education to every student everywhere in the world. And that, I think, is the most important role of technology, is to empower the students, to bring them the technology. I don't know if you've seen on YouTube, there was a student somewhere in Africa with no formal education. He built, using YouTube, power mills, like this windmill, that brought electricity to his village. Now think about that. What if we all come together and we use technology such as an LMS, such as platforms, online platforms? Because I'll tell you another thing. For example, in India, right? In the Western world, we started off landlines and we installed the technology, and it was such a pain to install all of the cabling and infrastructure. India and other countries, mobile phones, instant communication, instant access to the internet, instant access to the world knowledge. So if we take a step back, us as technology providers, is to enhance that, to bring the power of education. And mind you, some of these countries, they have the youngest population, and the growth of population of planet Earth is actually happening in these countries. Why are we wasting all of this potential when we can actually use technology to bring every student up to speed?
That is a fantastic thing when you have leverage out the borders, the boundaries, the borders to higher education and to information. So internet has revolutionized our access to information. But in many countries in Africa, they still have the mentality of being behind the West. But on the technical side, they're not. Since the internet penetration has gone up tremendously, and the young generation use the phone all the time, etc., etc. It's a mindset only right now. It's not the technology, as you so elegantly spoke about when the technology was there. We see so much productivity in countries like Nigeria, in countries in Egypt, where I have my team since 12 years. And in many other countries that you wouldn't heard of when I was in school, was in the near of being technology advanced. And we remember when China started to come along and say, well, they are low people, they are not going to hurt us, and we sat there on our high horses, and now they have, as Tim Cook said on Apple, if you search for in US, there might be two applicants for this high-end world, but while we go to Shanghai in China, there's hundreds and thousands with the same qualifications. So yeah, we are in a fantastic phase in human and mankind when everyone has the ability to be anything due to the technology with internet and AI, and we have a fantastic, the most amazing tool ever built for education, and we should stand up and say thanks. Of course, we should be cautious as you should hang on, wait a minute. Do we really need this? Is this good? Yeah, but for me, the positive sides in education is so far greater than the negative sides. But cautious and testing and pivoting. If this doesn't work, let's try the other one.
Actually, to open up the new, new vision on how we see the education in current and the future as well. So again, we do have any question from the floor. Is there any? Please, sir. Please, sir. All right.
Deal with AI in education. How are teachers going to know if of course they're going to be using it? You've got to accept that they're going to use it and show them how to use it critically. So you can build in, like you do on a doctoral viva. You don't know they've written the thesis until you meet them and you have a conversation with them and you ask open questions. That's how you know that they've learned and mitigated some form of critical learning and application from whatever it is they've pulled out of the ether. That's how you do it. You change your grading rubric. You change your method of, I'm not going to say teaching, but you change your method of relationship with the client, with the student. That's the only way you can do it. And it's a very effective way of working. And you're right, 30% at least down. If you work like that, your stress levels drop enormously. Because the onus then is on working groups with the students who are working autonomously in communities of learning and loving it. Anyway, I just wanted to say
Yes, absolutely. So again, going back to all the different waves of technological revolution that we've seen, and it's always been about change management, okay? And we as humans, we love doing things over and over the same. However, it's either through political, economical, demographic, different factors that will anyway push us forward, whether we like it or not. So that's why, again, let's embrace it, let's work together. And it's always been a partnership. One of the things that people forget is it's a partnership. Technology companies work with their clients, work with government organizations, and around, again, technology companies work with the government organizations that then get impacted by the customers who then talk to the government. It's not a one-way street that you have, okay, you need to implement this. No, it's a collaboration, and through collaboration we will all grow better. One example from our company is we use AI to help both the student as well as the educator. Make it easier to create quizzes. There you go. Look at the analytics of your students and find out where that particular student is on a trajectory to, they're not grasping a particular part of the course with predictive analytics, right?
Talk about quizzes. If you go to video2quiz.com, you can take a video link from YouTube or upload a video, that you have a lecture or a Zoom call, you have two bars. How many questions, how hard, your email, done.
Done.
It's a 30-second efforts that previously took 3 hours, 3 days, or how long did it how many of
create a
you
quiz,
have done a quiz for a long thing? It's a huge time effort saving in that sense. So small things like this enhance the power of the educators. So when we launched this in May 2023, I was very happy to be absolutely in the frontier of the development, and knowing that in 2 weeks something else is better. But it's still a very effective tool. You can have any language. So you can upload an Arabic or Spanish or Arabic, Swedish, English, and get a quiz in a beautiful PDF. Comes in a mail when the AI system has done it. It sometimes takes a half an hour or an hour, but that's it.
Yeah. Okay, sir.
Yeah, quick question,
Yeah.
and thank you all for being here. Appreciate the knowledge. So the title on this is The Surge in Investment and the Impact on Educational Innovation. Investors who invest in these technologies are interested in return on investment, obviously a financial return, whereas education is a little bit more, we look at that as a little bit more pure, especially in this particular environment of educators. Any risks or caveats that any of you would give to that when we have the financial end, big investors coming in, other than Microsoft and et cetera, et cetera. Any cautions you would give to that as we move along, trying to keep educational purity, but mixing investment with that as well?
So, as any business that wants to survive, right? Whether you're an education institution, you're a technology company, or whatever you do, is ultimately the customer. If you put the customer at the forefront, it's impossible to fail. Because, like I said earlier, it's a working progress, and we're all growing together. Venture capitalists invest in technology companies because they also do their own research, knowing that their customer wants to buy this. The government obviously hates monopolies. That's why they're trying to break up Google now, right? So at the end of the day, it's a collaborative piece, and investors love making money, right? And how do they make money is to invest in companies that have the ethical standards, that they have a product that's viable, that's sellable, that is actually being able to produce the pitch deck result that they came to those venture capitalists with. So ultimately, I think it's in all of our best interests to collaborate together and to work together in whatever technology it is. Today it can be AI, but BYD and Tesla already are using humanoid robots. We're already talking about full self-driving cars. So other industries are being completely reinvented. How do we as educators learn about those future challenges that our own students are going to face?
Thank you. Wait, for that. Continue.
Was that the answer of your question? Because I had the feeling that you had some concerns about the integrity of the education sector versus the need for profit from investors. Or I really, so I don't need to answer that. That's right.
Correct. Yeah.
Okay.
So we need to be balanced. Yeah? So when things getting easier for the educators, not easier. Basically, being helped by this kind of assistance through AI and whatnot, and the assessment that we made to our students sometimes also need to be at par, and also comes together with that kind of transforming for innovation of education. So how we can ensure the quality of the students based on that kind of assessment, and also the approach that we made in the technology, and we expect the results coming back to us to measure it and to come out, this is the quality student, this is less quality, or things like that. Is it possible?
That is a very relevant and very important question. And coming back to the moderators and the coaching, this is the role of the teacher to make sure that the quality is there from the AI, and not just swallow everything that it produces, because it's a little bit tricky, you know. It goes somewhere and it suddenly, what? This is not true. So you also have to know things in order to correct it. And why I choose education as my passion for the last 3 decades is because the power of teaching, to see the ahas in the students, and to see when the light goes up and when you connect the dots as coaching or teaching is fantastic. Even though I've been starting my business with the video tutorials back in the days where we have plastic band you put on and fast forward with mechanics. That aha moment is, I think, what drives most of us in here to see the light when a student understands things, and when you connect yourself, and when you learn things yourself, because we learn everything on an hourly basis, due to the fact that the information is just coming into our heads in the speed of light that we use these smartphones. Well, coming back to what Paul was mentioning before, the Nokia moment or the Kodak moment when they didn't adapt, when Kodak didn't adapt the digital technology, they failed as a business. When Nokia didn't adapt the smartphone, they failed as a business, etc., etc. We've seen this, and I can tell you, every company on the earth needs to think about themselves as a blockbuster. Should have thought about themselves when Netflix came along, right? So, having that said,
And being an
that is
educator,
the reality even for education.
yeah, for the educators too needs to learn a lot to get familiarized with all this kind of innovation and technologies. Sometimes
Yeah,
they
and
refuse to do that.
There's AI tools to check out not only ChatGPT. Now you can
Yeah,
choose
many
anything.
others.
So it's
Yeah.
like Trivago of learning LLMS. Coming to the end of it, the companies are very afraid of letting internal information leak out to the big companies like OpenAI. So they want the power of AI, but they don't want AI to the information leak out. And it's the same in the educational industry as well. They don't want to have everything out there in order for them to survive as well, to be unique and in the position to their clients, the students.
So, Paul, maybe one before we end the session, maybe we got one more question coming from the floor later after I ask Paul about this question. Investment again needs to come together with capital. We talk about money, and that's always become as challenges to either a country or a person to get a good education. So how we can overcome this? Is there any possibility that our education system, this comes with cost as well. We need to pay for the tuition fees and all the assessment fees and certification fees. How we look into the future in terms of this kind of funding? Is there any possible way to leverage it into affordable prices?
Yeah, look, one thing that we should all know, because we're on the education sector, we're talking about education 3.0 at the moment. What that means is that we're done with the traditional learner, okay? Where you go to high school, university, boom, there you go, there's your job, 30, 40 years, you're sitting at the same desk, and that's it, you retire, it's gone. We need to adapt, we need to learn that this is the new education. We're talking about the non-traditional student, okay? And what I mean by that is you have students that started the university, dropped out, went did some outside of university experience, came back. While they were outside, they also did a lot of Coursera's, a lot of Udemy's, a lot of Google certified courses. That I'm a marketer, that's what I'm talking. There's a lot of other courses out there, right? So then they probably got their bachelor's degree, or you have others, such as, look, professional education, such as doctors. Every year they need to participate in a certain number of seminars, read books and other material, or complete short courses in order to even keep their qualification. So when we're talking about investment, first of all, we need to realize what the current situation is. Number two, we need to invest in everything from micro credentials, micro courses, and to deliver within the infrastructure that we have at the moment, to then cater for them as well as for the future. And I'll finish up with an example. So when I finished my marketing degree, I couldn't get a job. I had to go back, take a lot of different courses, small courses, certifications, and get myself trained up and get the experience that I needed to then get hired.
Just very short. When Saudi Arabia developed their AI strategy, and I've been involved in this process a bit, they put the workforce and the students. It's their job to educate themselves. It's not coming from top down. It's on their behalf, but they will provide the tools and to use AI on an hourly basis is stated in their strategy. And I've just read the Swedish strategy. I haven't read it yet. It came out 2 days before I flew here, 138 pages long. So then on the national level, you will see in your countries what the government and the politicians are focusing much more than they have. Some countries are ahead here. Singapore, UAE, Saudi Arabia, US to some degrees, but not on a level in schools. Let's see what the new administration will come up with. But people, the political system must also enforce so that the education system are supported by the political parties using this technology. And that has not happened in many countries, and it must, because it just like the blockbuster moment for companies, it will be the blockbuster moment for countries.
Right. So there is actually a policy that we are expecting from the government to look into this kind of investment for the
It's the
education.
investment for the future,
Yeah.
for the countries and society to enjoy the fruits that AI will produce.
Thank you so much. I think that's all from our side, Eric and Mr. Paul. And again, from Education 2.0, we'd like to thank everybody for this session, and also all these members from the floors, and also who asked the question for us just now. So we end up this at that point. Okay, thank you so much again, and we shall meet again maybe in the next Education 2.0. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for that wonderful talk. And moving right along to our last panel discussion for today. So this panel discussion is entitled Beyond the Classroom Walls, Maker Learning in Community and Extracurricular Programs. Now, this panel will explore how after-school programs and community-driven initiatives are empowering students to learn by doing. From robotics clubs to art studios, this session uncovers how these opportunities shape learners into innovators. So first of all, we're going to welcome up our moderator, up onto the stage.